About 150 area churches are part of a big Christian celebration this weekend. Will Graham, grandson of Evangelist Billy Graham, will be at Memorial Coliseum. And Will joins us now to talk all about this event. Will, welcome to Fort Wayne.
No, well, thank you so much.
Now, you have been an evangelist now for a number of years, following in the steps of your father and your grandfather. How have you taken what they have preached and made it your own in this digital age, especially?
Well, times have changed, and my grandfather was always, and my father for that matter, have always tried to use the latest technology just to further the gospel as far as they can. So, my grandfather was one of the first to use radio. He wasn't the first, but one of the first to really do it successfully was radio. He also did television. He did satellite. Matter of fact, he was one of the first preachers to ever use the internet. This is in the first days of old dial-up internet, but he would go down with AOL and do a little chat online to answer spiritual questions well before anyone had the internet in their home.
Yeah.
And so we've always tried to use technology to the best of our ability. So for me, I've just tried to use that same technology. That's why, now it's Facebook, social media is real big, social media, which I'm not much of a social media person, but trying to communicate the gospel on all different levels. So I like pictures, so I try to take pictures of things and tell stories behind the pictures.
Okay.
And so, thankful to my granddad, there's a lot of pictures I can post, but I get to tell the stories of what God did in those pictures, and that's what I want to share.
How has God moved in your life specifically?
God, when I was about almost 6 years old, God came into my life. I asked Jesus to come into my life, forgive me of my sin. And, at 6 years old, I'm not a huge menace.
You're just a baby, yeah. Okay.
I mean, it wasn't like I was a deviant in society or anything, but I realized one thing: I needed Jesus Christ in my life. Even at 6 years old, I realized that I wanted Jesus in my life, and I want to spend eternity with Him. And so I asked Christ to forgive me. And at 6 years old, I realized I'd done bad things. So I asked Christ to come into my life, forgive me of my sin, and He did. But at the same time, God continued to work in my life. And then it was later on that where God called me into ministry, to serve Him full-time in ministry. I didn't know where that would be, whether it be a missionary or a pastor or an evangelist. I didn't know. But I'm just grateful that God gave me an opportunity to work with my grandfather and my father, for that matter, and serving those ministries there.
So many times when there's a tragedy like the mass shooting that happened in Las Vegas, people have a tendency to re-emphasize the need for prayer. When people have been coming to you, what have you been telling them to offer them comfort, to help them get through this hard time?
I tell people, this doesn't take God by surprise. God knows everything that takes place, but it still breaks God's heart. God hates to see sin. God hates to see the effects of sin. And that's what we're seeing, especially in Las Vegas. And, and that's why I tell people, that's why God can change lives. The only thing that stops people, that what we see take place in Las Vegas, is a changed heart. Someone's heart has to be changed. It can't be dictated by society. It can't be done by laws or anything like that. It has to be done by God Himself. God can change the heart. And when we see people's lives change, are we still going to see bad things in life? Yes, we're still going to see bad things. But when God's in people's lives, it changes them. They start to think about what God wants them to do instead of the things that they want to act out on and hurt other people. Now they say, you know what? Christ has forgiven me. I'm not going to act like this anymore. I'm going to change my behavior. And so Christ is the answer that people are longing for in life, and that can change not only just a person, but can change society and can change our country. And I truly believe that. That's one reason why I'm here. Now, we've been planning on this way well before the shooting, of course, but it's the same message. It can change people's lives, and that's what we want to see.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about why you're here. The event is going to be taking place at the Coliseum. Set the stage for us. What's going to be going on?
Well, one is I can't wait to see the Coliseum. I've always heard about how beautiful the Coliseum is. Exactly.
Nice, yes.
I can't wait to see it myself. I haven't been in it. But, we're going to have 4 different events. Friday night is going to be at 7 o'clock. Saturday morning, we're going to have a children's event. This is geared more toward children, young children. Bouncy houses, face painting, all the things. And then we're going to have a kids program to tell them about the gospel. And then Saturday night at 7 o'clock, it's going to be more youth oriented. It's still open for the whole family, but the music's going to be more rock and roll type feel to it.
Okay.
And we're going to have two great bands Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock, and it'll be our last service. But every night I'm going to preach. Every morning I'm going to preach. I say morning, the Kids Fest.
Okay.
But I'll be there. We're going to have a great program. We're going to have great music. It's for the whole family, and everything is free. Everything's been paid for. Now, everything has a cost.
Right.
But the churches here and the Christians have already paid the price. They've paid for it, and they want everyone to come free, so it doesn't cost you a dime. None of these concerts cost you a dime. It's all been paid for, and it's a beautiful example of what Christ's done for us. Our debt has to be paid. We couldn't afford it, so someone else, in this case, Jesus, paid our debt. So it's a great illustration of what Christ has already done for us.
You've got a busy weekend.
Well, it's going to be busy, that's for sure.
Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Well, it sure is nice to meet you.
And
Thank
have
you.
a great festival for the
Thank
weekend.
you.